The following is a class on the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter number 4, Text number 26, given by His Grace, Sriman Sankarshan Das Adhikari, recorded on August 24th, 2012, in Tarnovo, Bulgaria.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Uddhava uvacha nanute tattva sangrajya rishikasharavantike sakshad bhagavato dishto marchalokam jihasata. Uddhava uvacha nanute tattva sangrajya rishikasharavantike sakshad bhagavata dishto marchalokam jihasata. Pretty good. Uddhava uvacha nanute tattva sangrajya rishikasharavantike sakshad bhagavata dishto marchalokam jihasata. Uddhava uvacha Uddhava said, Nanu, however, te, of yourself, tattva sangraja, one who is worshipable for reception of transcendental knowledge. Rishi, learned scholar, Kasharava, unto the son of Kusharu, Maitreya, Antike, staying nearby, Sakshat, directly, Bhagavata, by the personality of Godhead, Adishta, instructed, Marchalokam, mortal world, Jihasata, while quitting. Sri Uddhava said, you may take lessons from the great learned sage Maitreya, who is nearby and who is worshipable for reception of transcendental knowledge. He was directly instructed by the personality of Godhead while he was about to quit this mortal world. Purport. Although one may be well versed in the transcendental science, one should be careful about the offense of maryada vyatikrama, or impertinently surpassing a greater personality. According to scriptural injunction, one should be very careful of transgressing the law of maryada vyatikrama, because by so doing one loses his duration of life, his opulence, fame and piety, and the blessings of all the world. To be well versed in the transcendental science necessitates awareness of the techniques of spiritual science. Uddhava, being well aware of all these technicalities of transcendental science, advised Vidura to approach Maitreya Rishi to receive transcendental knowledge. Vidura wanted to accept Uddhava as his spiritual master, but Uddhava did not accept the post because Vidura was as old as Uddhava's father, and therefore Uddhava could not accept him as his disciple, especially when Maitreya was present nearby. The rule is that in the presence of a higher personality, one should not be very eager to impart instructions, even if one is competent and well versed. So Uddhava decided to send an elderly person like Vidura to Maitreya, another elderly person. But he was well versed also because he was directly instructed by the Lord while he was about to quit this mortal world. Since both Uddhava and Maitreya were directly instructed by the Lord, both had the authority to become the spiritual master of Vidura or anyone else. But Maitreya, being elderly, had the first claim to becoming the spiritual master, especially for Vidura, who was much older than Uddhava. One should not be eager to become a spiritual master cheaply for the sake of profit and fame, but one should become a spiritual master only for the service of the Lord. The Lord never tolerates the impertinence of maryada vyatikrama. One should never pass over the honor due to an elderly spiritual master in the interests of one's personal gain and fame. Impertinence on the part of the pseudo-spiritual master is very risky to progressive spiritual realization. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapara Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakanditamscha. So this is a very important point that Prabhupada is making here. One should never pass over the honor due to an elderly spiritual master in the interests of one's own personal gain and fame.
Шрила Прабхупад набляга тук на един много важен момент, че човек никога не трябва да прескача, да не уважава по-възрастния духовен учител.
You may get your personal gain and fame by being disrespectful to a spiritual master.
В името на своята лична облага и слава, човек може да получи това, като не уважи по-старшия духовен учител.
However, by so doing, you lose your duration of life, you lose your opulence, you lose your fame and piety and the blessings of all the world. So, for some temporary gain and fame, you see, in the long run you become very much dishonored and because of your offense. So the point is that one should not be materially motivated. Ahaitakiya pratiyata yagyatma suprasidati. Devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to fully satisfy the self. If one is rendering devotional service with a personal motive for gain and fame, he may get that gain and fame, but he won't be happy because he won't get Krishna. Bhagavatam says, unless one is doing bhakti without any material motive, he can't be happy. And what does that mean? Eventually they'll give it up. If one does bhakti with a material motive, he has to either give up that material motive or he'll give up bhakti, one of the two. You can't maintain both of them. Material motives and bhakti go ill together. It's like you may take oil and water. You may mix it together, you see. You can shake it up. It looks like, oh, it's nicely combined now. When you let it sit, it separates into the oil and water. So one actually wants to be situated permanently in bhakti,
Ако човек иска постоянно да бъде установен в бхакти
being qualified to go back to home, back to Godhead,
и да се квалифицира да се върне обратно при Бога,
they have to clear out these material motives from the heart.
човек трябва да изчисти материалните мотиви от сърцето си.
And they have to be very respectful to elderly spiritual masters.
И трябва да се отнася с голямо уважение към по-старшите духовни учители.
If they're not respectful,
Ако не са,
it is simply a sign of material motives.
това просто е признак на материален мотив.
And such persons will not last in Krishna consciousness.
Такива личности няма да издържат дълго време в Кришна съзнание.
I've been in this movement for 41 years,
Аз съм в това движение 41 години
and I've seen him come and I've seen him go.
и съм виждал хора да идват и да си отиват.
Rank and file devotees, GBCs, temple presidents, I've seen him. Gurus, I've seen him come and go in this movement.
Виждал съм дори храмови президенти, GBC гуру, да идват и да си отиват.
Why do they go?
И защо си отишли?
Because they were holding on to material motives.
Защото са поддържали тези материални мотиви.
What's the point of holding on to material motives?
И какъв е смисъл да се поддържат материални мотиви?
It doesn't make any sense.
Това няма никакъв смисъл.
It's foolish.
Това е глупаво.
It's stupid
Глупаво е.
to hold on to material motives
Човек да държи материални
because they don't give any satisfaction.
защото те не удовлетворяват.
They may give a false sense of satisfaction,
Може фалшиво удовлетворение да носят,
but it's simply on a mental platform. They imagine that they're happy.
но това е само на умствена платформа. Човек си въобразява, че ще се.
But is there any real ananda there? Is there any real taste of bliss? No, there's no real taste of bliss.
Но няма никакво истинско блаженство. Ананда.
So if you want to get that real taste of bliss,
Ако искам истинско блаженство и вкус,
if you really want to experience ananda,
ако наистина искам да вкусим ананда,
you have to approach a bona fide spiritual master
трябва да се обърнем към авторитетен духовен учител,
who is free of all material motives.
който е освободен от всякакви материални мотиви.
His only desire is to establish Krishna consciousness in every town and village on this planet.
И единственото му желание е да установи Кришна съзнание в всеки
He has no desire for disciples.
Той няма желание за ученици,
He has no desire for women.
няма желание за жени,
He has no desire for money.
не желае пари.
He simply wants to see that everybody can be happy. That's all.
Той просто иска всички да бъдат щастливи.
That's the bona fide spiritual master.
Това е истинският духовен учител.
If you can find such a spiritual master
Ако намерите такъв духовен учител,
who doesn't want disciples,
който не иска
who doesn't want money, and doesn't want women, you see,
не иска пари, не иска жени,
that's the bona fide spiritual master.
това е истинският духовен учител.
One should surrender his life to such a spiritual master
Човек трябва да даде живота си на такъв духовен учител,
because he is free of any material motives.
защото той е освободен от материални мотиви
He is situated in pure devotional service,
и установен чисто преданно.
and he can give you pure devotional service
Той
also,
може да ни даде и на нас чисто преданно,
so that you can achieve Krishna.
за да постигнем Кришна.
It's very important we hear from those who are pure.
Много е важно да слушаме тези, които са чисти.
Of course, we respect all devotees,
Разбира се, ние уважаваме всички предани,
but those that we actually take as spiritual authorities who can liberate us from this material world are those persons who are completely pure.
но тези, които приемаме за истински авторитети, които могат да ни освободят от материалния свят,
Who do not manifest any cheating propensity.
са тези, които са действително чисти и те не мамят други.
Those are the persons that we should submissively surrender ourselves to.
На тези личности трябва покорно да се отдадем.
This is a very important verse.
Много важен стих.
Impertinently surpassing a superior Vaishnava, you see.
Човек не трябва...
Impertinently means improperly or proudly.
Човек не трябва неправилно, така с гордост или наглост да прескача
Impertinently.
висшия авторитет.
You'll have to look up in the dictionary how they define that. It's a very good word, impertinently.
Тази дума е много добра. Ще погледнем в речника какво означава.
So are there any questions?
Има ли някакви въпроси?
Yes.
Аз имам някой въпрос, понеже имаме Дикша Гуру, обаче приемаме преладаец за Шикшана. понякога сред преударените дали е грешно, ако човек дава лекции или води киртан, при положение, че другите са по-старши. И това ми е въпрос.
We have our Diksha Guru, but we also take Shiksha from the other devotees. And he is asking, is it a mistake when other senior devotees are present, for example, and we are leading kirtan? Is this... or giving a class. Is this a mistake?
My godbrothers, you mean?
No, other devotees.
Senior devotees to us, but not godbrothers.
Actually, in every temple they have a schedule, just like when I go to our Los Angeles temple, for example, there are many. They have a lecture schedule, and every Ramana is on the lecture schedule. So when one is scheduled to lecture, it's a rotating thing. Everyone has an opportunity. So even if I have an older, even if it looks like when I go to LA, they put me on the lecture schedule. You see. So I may be scheduled to give a lecture that morning, and let's say an older godbrother shows up, like Jai Pataka Swami or something, a senior godbrother. But still, the system is, it's my day and I give a lecture. And he can give another day. It's not that, so there is a certain thing where everybody has an opportunity to preach. It's not that you have to give up because a senior devotee is present, an older godbrother or older devotee, that one is not allowed to give a class. Like in Los Angeles, everyone has an opportunity. All the brahmanas are given an opportunity, and when you're on the roster, that's your day, and it doesn't matter if some senior devotee shows up at the last minute, it's still your day. In Vrindavan also the same thing. Some devotee is in charge of assigning the lecture, and then when it's your day to give class, you give the class. There's a senior devotee present. Let's see. So even like I'm giving a class in Vrindavan, there's some senior godbrother there, but still I give the class because it's my day to give class. You see. So that's, in ISKCON, that's how we do that. Not that you have, because you can't preach in the presence of a senior devotee, it doesn't mean that. We follow the...
Prabhupada asked his disciple when
he was sitting. Prabhupada asked Vishnu Jana Swami to give a lecture. Whatever the temple authority does, and if you're the authority, then and there are other senior devotees present who are purely following our process. You see, who are purely following, then there can be some rotating schedule. If many devotees come and stay at Ahaloi, there can be some opportunity where different devotees can give class. One day one devotee, another day another devotee, in this way. And you can be on the schedule, and there's a whole schedule. And if somebody else shows up, they're not on the schedule, it's not that you have to drop the schedule because they showed up. Does that make it clear?
Yes.
They can ask earlier if they can give class, then he can put them on the roster also, just like when you go and they give you opportunity different places. So if they are ahead of time, they let you know that they are coming.
Yeah, they should let you know ahead of time so they can be on the schedule. Of course, if the farm is just you and your brother, then you talking about at the farm?
No.
Oh, okay.
Basically, on a principle.
Where?
On a principle, is it basic?
The principle. Yeah, the principle is that all brahmanas should be given the chance to give class. They're following, who are fixed in their vows. All brahmanas should be given the chance to give class. Even ladies can give class. Second initiated women can also give class. And should be a rotating basis. That's how it's always done. In all the major temples, that's how they do. Now, when a visiting spiritual master comes, then they can put him on the roster for the whole week, for example. Just like when I go to LA, I'm there for 2 days. They have me give both Bhagavatam classes, 2 days in a row. So it's not wrong to, that when I'm there, or any spiritual master is there, that, he gives one class and then the junior devotees give classes. No. When a spiritual master comes, or a sannyasi comes, they can be given all the lectures for the whole week. Now if 2 sannyasis come or 2 gurus come, then you can split it 50-50. But when a spiritual master spends, his own money, comes all the way half around the world to give lectures here and say, okay, you give one lecture and now that's it. Doesn't make, then he'll just stay for 1 day. What's the point? A traveling preacher, a spiritual master, sannyasi. Well, you can only give one lecture while you're here. All right, I'll stay for 1 day then. I'll come give my one lecture and move on to another place.
If I were a guru, if that is 1 day class, then I would not spend so much, thousands of...
Yeah, why should we spend so much money to come to a country to give one lecture, They don't even give any donation to help cover our airfare. We come there to help them and serve them, and they're not interested to hear from us. So why even go to such a place? There's places where I go, they want me to stay forever, Give weeks of lectures. Weeks and weeks of lectures. They pay my airfare to come. Why should I go to a place where they don't really want me? Yeah.
Понеже имаше една програма с Правана Махарадж, имаше дискусия кой да води киртана преди това. Искам да питам дали е грешно други праводани, които са по-младши, те да водят киртана, а пък старши праводани да дава лекция. Пак такъв менеджер, такъв basically такъв въпрос. Преди киртана, преди лекцията, да. Дали е оскърбление?
Ще дава лекция?
Да, дали е оскърбление някой друг преди това да води киртана.
For example, if a senior guru or a sannyasi gives a lecture, is it a mistake another devotee to lead the kirtan before the lecture?
Well, it depends on the situation. There's no hard and fast rule. I mean, maybe you should give we're talking about Jai Radha Madhava? Or the arti?
Не за преди bhajan. Before we have a program, we have a bhajan, and after there will be lecture.
You ask the senior devotee if he'd like to do it.
No, they do the bhajan, that's nothing wrong.
Huh?
That's nothing wrong if there is but time and the devotee...
Yeah, like a whole, like at the summer festival or something?
There is Sunday feast, Sunday program.
Yeah.
And after...
Like in Austin, other devotees are doing bhajan and kirtan.
Yeah. Like in Austin, the devotees do the bhajan kirtan, and then I come out at the end of the bhajan kirtan for the arti. It's not that the senior devotee has to lead all the kirtans. Prabhupada engaged his disciples. You can see in the videos, there's so many... Prabhupada is there and his disciples are leading kirtan. He wanted them. Because the spiritual master is not always present. He sometimes leads the kirtan to show example, but he wants his devotees also to learn how to lead kirtan with great inspiration and bhakti shakti. So the spiritual master will engage his disciples sometimes in giving lectures also in his presence and leading kirtan in his presence. So they can become inspired and enlivened and empowered how to lead kirtan and give lectures, give the classes. Yeah.
Въпросът ми е какво трябва да направим, ако по-старши от нас правомдани ни видим, че те грешат. Не духовни учители, а по-старши правомдани. Ако грешат, какво трябва да направим?
What we should do if we see that senior devotees to us, not spiritual master, but senior devotee makes a mistake, what should we do in such a...
Well, we all make mistakes, so we have to be a little tolerant of the mistakes of others. But if someone is committing offenses, purposefully committing offenses, knowingly committing offenses, without any disregard for Vaishnava etiquette, then we should report that to higher authority like the GBC, so they can rectify.
I will translate for him because he doesn't understand.
Oh, okay.
Значи всички ние вършим грешки, така че трябва да сме търпеливи и толерантни към грешките на другите, но ако някой извърши оскърбление и то така преднамерено, тогава ние трябва да доведеме до знанието на някой по-старши, като GBC или духовен учител.
Yeah.
Okay, or in the beginning, one can inquire if this is proper to the senior devotee, and if he thinks that it is right, then you can approach the second step, not the first.
Yeah, first of all, you approach that devotee. I mean, otherwise the GBC will be overburdened with too much work, you know. You approach the devotee and say, Prabhu, this doesn't seem right what you're doing. It just doesn't seem right to me. Can you explain to me why you're doing this? It doesn't seem right to me according to what I've read in Prabhupada's books. It's always better to try to work out amongst themselves. Over the GBC will go crazy, you know. They have to chant their rounds also, you know. So, yeah, we try to work it out amongst ourselves. Use the GBC as the last resort. And we can't work it out amongst ourselves. Yeah?
I was just thinking there are so many anarthas we have. And due to so many anarthas we commit offenses also. And isn't that ultimate subtle anartha, profit, adoration and distinction that we want? We commit more offenses, more grave offenses.
Yes. What's the question?
Isn't that, I said?
The answer is yes. Yeah. The answer is yes.
So how one can overcome that?
Ahaitikhiya pratiyatra yatma suprasidati.
Or should we do the political situations with other devotees?
No, the thing is because this is a material world, there's always going to be politically... See, this movement's a hospital. It's a place where materially contaminated people can come and get purified. So there's always going to be that aspect of mundane politics in our society. We have to just somehow, it's a hospital accepts sick people. So the hospital deals with those sick people in such a way they become cured, and the hospital doesn't become contaminated. So it's natural we're going to have devotees in our movement who are politically motivated, because that's all we have politically motivated natures in the material existence. So it's natural to be politically minded devotees in our movement. So we have to conduct our movement in such a way that we can elevate them to a higher platform, to the Brahminical stage.
But the question is this, that is it because we have this nature of profit, adoration and distinction, and that's why we end up in all this problem?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Значи причината да се завличаме в тези политики е, че имаме това желание, за финно желание за полза, слава, за влага, за...
So this is called ulterior motive?
Huh?
This is called ulterior motive?
Yes.
Yeah, but if somebody keeps criticizing the spiritual master, one's spiritual master, what is one disciple supposed to do?
One should avoid that person. Either defeat him. If someone is constantly blaspheming your guru, translation.
Ако някой критикува духовният учител, какво трябва да правят неговите ученици, как трябва да постъпват, и казва се, че трябва да или да го обориш, или да избягваш неговото общуване.
You should defeat them by argument.
Може да го обориш с аргументи.
If you can't do that, you should avoid their association rather than get polluted by that Vaishnava apparat.
Но ако не можеш да правиш това,
Guru apparat.
по-добре е да избягваш общуването му, за да не се замърсиш с Вайшнава или гуру апарата.
If one loses faith in one's guru, then there's no way you can become Krishna conscious.
Ако човек загуби вярата си в гуру, той няма как да стане Кришна осъзнат.
So we have to preach this very strongly to the disciples, so that envious, critical persons cannot break their faith in their spiritual master.
Това ние трябва да проповядваме силно това на учениците, за да не може завистливи личности да прекършат вярата им в духовния учител.
Anything else?
Аз искам да попитам за този скеджъл, за тази програма, в принцип. Понякога някои преводани, как се казва, имат такива политически мотиви. И въпросът ми е, грешно ли е те да не са в този скеджъл, дори да са брамани. Не са духовни учители. Но създават проблеми на менеджмента. Въпросът е дали е грешката, ако не се включват.
Това ако ние правим този град.
Да.
His question is about this schedule. If there are such devotees who are politically inclined, is it a mistake if we do not include them in the schedule for giving lectures?
Well, these questions are general questions, and I can't. If we want to get into specifics, it's not a Bhagavatam class thing, and I can't really. That's an East Augusti topic. We're recording a Bhagavatam class for my audience on the internet right now, all over the world. And we're getting down to two specific issues now that we'd have to discuss outside of Bhagavatam class. But the principle is that the basic philosophical principle is we're not perfect. And we have to be forgiving for the offenses of others. And give everybody a chance to preach. We shouldn't be. I've seen some devotees are so much into finding fault with other people, they don't want to give them any facility, but they don't see their own faults. So we should not be so proud of thinking that we're great pure devotees, you see. We have to understand that we ourselves have many, many faults. If someone else has faults, we should be a little tolerant of it, you see. But if someone is blaspheming your spiritual master, then that's very dangerous. You have to avoid hearing that kind of stuff or defeat it. But specific issues can be discussed outside of the Bhagavatam class. Okay, anything else? Okay, we'll stop here. Kandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
His Grace Sankarshana Prabhu ki jai.